The Manchester City Football Club, founded in 1880, is one of the oldest and most successful clubs in England. Throughout its history, the club has experienced ups and downs, but in recent decades, it has established itself as a powerhouse in European football. Today, we'll bring to you guys a summary of its history. Founded as St. Mark's, West Gorton in 1880, the club changed its name to Ardwick Association Football Club in 1887 and finally became Manchester City Football Club in 1894. Initially, the club represented the working class of Manchester and played in regional leagues before joining the Football League in 1892. The first major title came in 1904 with the FA Cup victory. During the 1930s and 1950s, the club consolidated its presence in English football, winning the First Division title in 1937 and several minor trophies during that period. The years between the 1930s and 1960s were marred by key moments in Manchester City's history. Although the club faced challenges and inconsistencies, it also enjoyed its first major successes in English football, solidifying its position as a relevant team on the national stage. The 1930s were crucial for Manchester City, as they marked the club's emergence as an important force in English football. In 1933, Manchester City reached the FA Cup final but was defeated by Everton 3-0. Despite the loss, it demonstrated the team's potential. 2 years later, City returned to the FA Cup final, this time against Portsmouth. The team won 2-1, securing its first major trophy. A historic moment from this campaign was the record attendance at the Old Main Road Stadium. 84,569 fans watched the match against Stoke City, a record that still stands in English football history. The pinnacle of the decade came when the City won the First Division of the English Championship for the first time in 1937. Led by players like Eric Brook and Fred Tilson, the team played an attacking and entertaining style of football, capturing the title with a memorable campaign. Curiously, immediately after winning the league, Manchester City was relegated in the following season, despite being the team with the most goals scored. This highlighted the club's inconsistency at the time, but also reflected the unpredictability of football. After the impact of World War II, Manchester City began restructuring and once again stood out on the national stage. In 1955, the team reached the FA Cup final but lost to Newcastle United 3-1. However, that campaign showed that the club was recovering and returning to the top. The following year, City won its third FA Cup, defeating Birmingham City 3-1 in the final. This match became famous because of the bravery of goalkeeper Bert Trautmann, who played the final minutes of the match with a fractured neck after a collision during the game. Trautmann became a club legend and one of football's greatest examples of dedication. The 1960s marked a golden era for Manchester City, which won significant titles under the leadership of Joe Mercer and Malcolm Allison. It was a period when the club experienced great success in English and European football, playing an exciting and offensive style that thrilled fans. It all began in 1965 when the club hired Joe Mercer as head coach and Malcolm Allison as his assistant. This duo transformed the club, creating a talented and balanced team that quickly rose to the top tier of English football. One of the first milestones was winning the second division in 1966, securing promotion back to the first division. City won its second national title by claiming the first division, now Premier League. The team was led by stars like Colin Bell, Francis Lee, and Mike Summerbee, who became club icons. The title was decided on the final match day with a 4-3 victory over Newcastle United. The following year, City lifted the FA Cup by defeating Leicester City 1-0 in the final. Neil Young scored the decisive goal, solidifying the club's position as one of the powerhouses of English football. Manchester City achieved success beyond England's borders by winning the European Winners' Cup, a competition contested by the National Cup winners. In the final, they defeated Górnik from Poland by 2-1 in Vienna, claiming their first international title. That same year, the club also won the English League Cup, securing 2 major trophies in a single season. Manchester City of the 1960s and early 1970s was known for its offensive, technical, and dynamic football. The trio of Colin Bell, Francis Lee, and Mike Summerbee was crucial to the team's success, and the three became club legends. After reaching its peak in the late 1960s and early 1970s, Manchester City began to face challenges that led to a prolonged period of decline. A lack of planning, poor management, and frequent changes in the coaching staff hurt the club, which began struggling against the relegation and lost the shine of its golden era. During the 1980s, Manchester City faced financial and sporting difficulties. The club became known for its instability, with frequent managerial changes and challenges in competing with rivals like Liverpool, Manchester United, and other elite teams. The club was relegated from the first division several times and alternated between the first and second divisions. Although some talented players emerged, such as Paul Lake, these talents were often not enough to overcome the club's problems. The lowest point came in 1998, when City was relegated to the third division of English football, known as League One nowadays. It was a painful moment for fans who continued to support the club despite the hardships. Even so, the club managed to recover quickly. In 1999, they returned to the second division after a dramatic playoff match against Gillingham. They were promoted back to the second division after winning a penalty shootouts. This match is remembered as a turning point in City's recent history. Despite the decline, Manchester City maintained an extremely loyal fan base. Even during the toughest times, fans continued to fill the main road stadium, showing unwavering support. This passion was essential in keeping the club alive during its years of crisis. In 2008, the club was acquired by the Abu Dhabi United Group, led by Sheikh Mansour bin Zayed Al Nahyan. This acquisition transformed Manchester City into one of the richest clubs in the world. With massive investments in infrastructure, players, and the coaching staff, the club began competing at the highest level. The club invested heavily in its headquarters and the development of the Etihad campus, which includes the Etihad Stadium and one of the best training centers in the world. Among the first players signed after the acquisition were Carlos Tevez, Gareth Barry, and Vincent Kompany. The renaissance of Manchester City culminated in a period of historic achievements in both English and international football. With the FA Cup victory in 2011, City ended a 35-year trophy drought. In the final, they defeated Stoke City 1-0 with a goal by Yaya Touré. The 2011-2012 season was one of the most dramatic in Premier League history. City won their first league title since 1968. Sergio Aguero's iconic stoppage time goal against Queen's Park Rangers on the final match day secured a 3-2 victory, edging out rivals Manchester United in the title race. In 2016, City appointed Pep Guardiola, one of the best coaches in the world, who introduced a revolutionary playing philosophy. Under his leadership, the club achieved unprecedented levels of excellence and dominance. During Guardiola's era, the team won the Premier League 9 times, highlighted by the 2018 season when they achieved 100 points and scored 106 goals. In the season 2019, they claimed the first domestic treble in English football history. Guardiola's era also brought 2 FA Cup titles and 8 League Cup titles. Champions League. In the same year, they were crowned FIFA Club World Cup champions. Manchester City under Guardiola is known for a playing style based on ball possession, quick movement, and high intensity. The manager has developed players like Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, and Phil Foden, who have become key pillars of the team. Manchester City's fan base is known as the Citizens. They are among the most passionate and loyal in English football. Despite the club's rise to global prominence in the last decade, City fans have a long history of unwavering support. Even during difficult times, when the club was far from its current success. They remained incredibly loyal during the periods of decline in the 1980s and 1990s, when City faced relegations and even played in the third tier of English football. Even in the worst moments, the Old Main Road Stadium continued to draw large crowds, showcasing the fans' passion. Manchester City supporters have always had a strong connection to the city of Manchester. Many fans take pride in representing the local community and often see themselves as the true locals, in contrast to Manchester United supporters, who are stereotyped as having more global than local backing. City fans are known for their sense of humor and ability to laugh at themselves, particularly during the tough years. The club's unofficial anthem is the song Blue Moon, which is passionately sung by fans before and during matches. Additionally, the citizens are creative with their chants and songs, often adapting popular tunes to cheer for the team. The Manchester Derby is one of the most intense rivalries in England. Historically, City fans considered United the media favorite, while seeing themselves as the underdogs. This mentality fostered a strong sense of unity among City supporters. In recent years, the title race rivalry between Manchester City and Liverpool has created a new and growing animosity. Fans of both clubs frequently trade jabs, particularly on social media. Several celebrities and public figures are outspoken Manchester City fans. Notable examples include Liam and Noel Gallagher, Timothy Dalton, and Jason Manford. Today, Manchester City's fan base is a blend of local and international supporters. However, the core values remain unchanged: loyalty, passion, and pride. Did you like the story of Manchester City's rise? So tell me in the comments if you like this content. Share other stories you'd like to see here. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and see you in the next video.